weeks ago you said that LaVar Ball was the Kardashian of the NBA. You said he was sort of a non-star. You didn't understand what the coverage he gets. Today he says that you're sort of a non-coach. Doesn't understand the credit you get and that you're the Milli Vanilli of the NBA. What do you think of that?
I'm not talking about basketball. I'm talking about basketball. Who wants a basketball question?
You went to stadium play last yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought he looked great last night. Very active, blocked some shots, some really athletic plays, some big dunks. He's a great roller to the rim. I think this has been a fantastic year for him. You know, he's investing in his future. As are we. You know, we're trying to get him as much playing time as possible, and he wasn't going to play much here this year for us. So this is great use of the G League, and he's getting coached. He's getting work in every day, and we're seeing it all unfold. And I'm really pleased with his development. Yeah, I mean, however you want to look at it. I mean, you know, I compare it a little bit to Kavan. His first 2 years, he was injured. You know, he didn't play much, but he was learning. And you see what he's done for us this year. It's what it takes. You got to learn the league. You got to get better. You got to put the work in. And the G League provides a platform and an environment where guys can really grow at an age where, you know, they need to play. They need to be on the floor. And so I'm really happy with what I'm seeing. And I think next year you'll see a guy who's ready to contribute.
It's a weird road trip. I mean, you guys are going Salt Lake back, Sacramento, on a drive.
Yeah, it's a little strange, but I like it, actually. I mean, I like the fact that we get a little break by coming home for a couple of days, and then you know, we don't have to be on an airplane all week. Obviously, the toughest part is the back-to-back in Denver, which you always dread. That's one of those you look at the beginning of the year when the schedule comes out, and you look at the game or games in Denver, and is it a back-to-back? And when it is, you know you got your hands full. So a little tricky, but we'll handle it and see how it goes.
The screen game is a big part of your offense, obviously.
The screen, yeah.
Where does Zaza fit into that, and how would you describe him as a screen?
Well, he's a great screener, and we screen off the ball more than anybody in the league. So with the shooters that we have, we need somebody who's going to dedicate themselves to freeing them up. And Zaza's really good at it. You know, he's an incredibly smart player. He's been around the league for, I think, 14 years, played 1,000 games. So he knows the nuances of the screen. If he's on ball, he knows how to flip the screen to fool the defender. If he's off the ball, he knows how to screen without fouling. And I think our guys are very grateful to have him out there getting them open.
Is Steph as good of a place mentally and physically at this point in the season as you can remember?
I mean, I think Steph's right in his prime, physically, mentally, emotionally. I mean, he's the smartest he's ever been in terms of his knowledge of his opponents and of the league, and he's now seen every possible coverage over the last few years that people are throwing at him. He's got the peace of mind that comes with being a multiple champion and an MVP. So in some ways, he's playing with house money. You know, there's different stages of a player's career. There's the climb, there's the apex, and then there's the descent. And I feel like this is his apex, where nothing to prove, on top of your game, feeling great. You should enjoy every bit of it.
Have you been happy with the fact with how he's taking with the defense gives him rather than forcing his own shots and really kind of going out?
Yeah, I mean what I think impresses me most about Steph is he knows that if we wanted to, we could play every game like we did last game just put him in high screen every play, and he could average 35 a game. He really could. But it wouldn't be great for the rest of the team. It wouldn't be good for other guys' rhythm. It wouldn't be good for the flow of the game. It would feel more stagnant, which disrupts the rhythm of the other players. And so his willingness not only to accept that, but to embrace it because of his desire for other people to succeed is fantastic. And then you combine that with the awareness of, all right, we need this tonight. I'm going to get 49, and we're going to run a bunch of high screens, and I'm going to take over. Like, that kind of combination is just incredibly powerful.
There's a game that you and your players can't control, all of the injuries. Just as a fan of basketball, when you see someone like Cousins go down, what goes through your mind?
It's devastating. You know, I never want anybody to get hurt. I never want anybody to sit out a game against us. I want every player to flourish. And so to see DeMarcus and Andre Robertson this week go down with season-ending injuries, I think the whole league, feels just like I do. We all cringe. We need great players. We need great teams. We want everybody to be at full strength.
Well, it's a bit of a weird question, but with the Patriots in the Super Bowl again, longevity they've had with their success. You were involved in this other team, but when you look at what you did with the Bulls in the 90s, what that Bulls group did over that 8-year stretch, do you have an opinion on what is better in terms of whether it's like a smaller peak or a sustained
between the Bulls and the Patriots?
Yeah, like if you were going to pick in terms of which
I don't compare the two. I compare the Spurs with the Patriots. I think that's a better analogy just because of you're talking about a 20-year run for each team, right? Has it been 20 years for the Patriots or 18 or something like that? And especially because you got Duncan Pop for 17, 18 years, whatever, maybe longer. How many years did Timmy end up playing? I don't even know. 19. About the same. And so you have that same dynamic of just incredible sustained success. And the thing I always think about with the Patriots and with the Spurs is lots of Super Bowls, NBA Finals, but lots of heartbreak too. There have been plenty of playoff games where they lost and they were devastated, and then they just keep coming back. Every year it's like a machine, and I think that's what everybody strives for in professional sports. Can you put yourself out there and give yourself a swing at the plate year after year?
Right.
Can you accept the fact that there's going to be heartbreak and devastation and keep getting off the mat and hit a home run, when you can? And so the Spurs have won 5. Patriots have won how many? 5 also. So 5 out of 20. That means there were 15 years in there where they went home heartbroken. But to not let that alter your course. There were plenty of years where the Spurs could have blown it up. They got swept, I think, in the first round.
Sure.
Did they blow it up? No, they keep going. You hold the course, and you understand the variabilities of things that can go wrong, but you keep plugging away, and that's what I admire about both franchises.
Well, I guess let me ask it this way then, since I'm trying to help one of my colleagues out.
About with the Bulls, yeah.
If just in terms of, I guess comparing it to the Bulls and the Spurs, because it's been very, essentially won a similar amount of titles, but in very different ways. Do you think that it's greater to have a 20-year run like that, where you are in it every year for that amount of time, or to win 6 and 8 when it's a peak run like that, if you had to choose?
I'd take either one.
If you had to pick which one is a greater accomplishment.
I think the 20 years.
They're both great accomplishments.
Yeah, I think the 20 years is an even more impressive accomplishment because every sports league is designed to give the teams at the bottom the best odds to recover and to give the best teams the worst odds to land good players. And so to sustain a run like that for 20 years without high draft picks, with the system basically built against you, makes it even more impressive. And that Bulls run, it was really about maybe a 10-year run, right? Because they lost a couple times in the conference finals before winning it. So, and then Michael,
88 to 98.
yeah, so a 10-year run, which not coincidentally happened when Michael Jordan was there, and so that was, I think, what the Bulls did was amazing, and it was really, but it ended, it began and ended with Jordan. I think what the Spurs have done, what the Patriots have done, it went through several different iterations. Like the Spurs have changed who they are as a team several times under Pop. When I was there in '99, it was dramatically different from what it is now.
Sure.
And so that's.
First half of his tenure there, everybody hated to watch them play.
Yeah, we were boring. We just stood around, and then about halfway through, they became this ball movement champion. Now they're more of an ISO team with Aldridge because they have to be.
Yep.
And so I think that's the more impressive feat is the longevity of the run, of the 20-year run, based on those factors. Like the leagues change, the rules change. Can you adapt and survive, and can you do it with a system that's basically set up for you to fail because you keep picking at the bottom of the draft? Excuse me? He was good. He practiced fully today. I think he'll be good to go tomorrow.
Yeah, we talked about that this morning. It was a good game for us, a good challenge. It was, I think it was that type of intensity, environment, playoff level. Knowing that they're a very, very dangerous team, I thought it was a good alert game for us. Figuring out how to win a game like that. Obviously with a super talented group like Boston, I just thought it was a good game for us to sort of, put us on edge. Obviously we wanted to win the game because they beat us in Boston, so we were able to accomplish that goal.
Coach Adam went to the game, you're saying that the first quarter defense wasn't where you wanted to be.
Yeah.
They also made some crazy shots, but from the second quarter on, he said it was playoff caliber defense.
Right.
Is that something that you've been looking for? That's something you can't maintain every single night anyway, which is so crazy.
Yeah, we try, to bring the effort defensively. We haven't gotten off to the greatest of starts throughout the year. Maybe we're dependent on our talent a little bit too much in those instances, but I think a team like Boston, we knew, the type of effort it was going to take to beat them. So I just thought, to a man, guys were sort of energized by that. Like I said, our awareness was way up because if you're not alert against that type of group, they can definitely beat you. I don't know. I just, we try to make an impact. Obviously, every single game is different. Kind of have different mixes sometimes. But, I've said this before. We just try to, fill in the holes, fill in the gaps. Where, these other guys, may be lacking. We try to just give them support and make sure that, we're carrying our end of the deal.
Even with all the different combinations, what do you think Andre and Sean have done to kind of formulate some stability?
That's pretty much it. Just be stable. Try to be consistent in terms of the way we're going to play. We try to get a little bit more physical, a little bit more scrappy. Particularly if the game is slow or if we're not getting stops, we try to bring that for the group.
You ever seen Klay Thompson angry?
Nah, it's pretty good. That's that's part of what makes him him. I think Klay doesn't react or change, regardless of the circumstance. He's himself. He's able to take a lot and just sort of let it go. Retain what he needs, but you'll never know, whether or not you're getting on his nerves. He'll never show it.
Do you feel like maybe the only thing that frustrates him at times is like if the shot's not on?
Yeah, but he doesn't. He won't even show that. He'll just keep firing it. He's got great confidence in himself. But part of who he is that stoicism. Where he's just not going to show you what's going on.
Steph's doing a great job getting to the line this season. Steph's doing a good job getting to the line this season.
You think so?
Yeah. Do you think he's being more aggressive, or just has a better sense of how defenses are playing?
I don't think he goes to the line enough, but yeah, I guess he's doing his job. I mean, he's very aggressive. He has the ball in his hands a lot. He's constantly in the paint. You know, he gets held, he gets pushed, he gets grabbed, just about on every possession. So I would say he's managing it.
When you say he doesn't go to the line enough, you mean he's not getting the calls he deserves?
I just think he should, a guy his caliber and his usage rate and, the amount of moving and cutting and, I just think there are a few calls he doesn't get every game.
Aren't there some teams that pretty much do something like every possession because they know they can't call them all?
That's smart, and that's obviously what it is. But for a guy like him, he'll never say anything. Unless he gets to a boiling point. Yeah, but his aggression is always high. So, from my perspective, I just always feel like he's probably short 2 or 4 free throws a game.
Part of it just because he's a nice guy, he doesn't necessarily.
He's not that nice. He's got an edge, and he's aggressive. I just think that he's super talented, and it's human nature. I think at times to say, well, he can deal with that one. He can make that shot in spite of because he's such a great shot maker, but doesn't take away from the fact that he may have gotten fouled or hit on that play.
Going back to the game on Saturday, it kind of turned when you guys opened the second quarter.
Yeah.
You guys were down 10-1. On the defensive end, you picked up. Is that something that you guys talked about going before you the floor, or is that just natural progress?
I felt like we knew we had to, get a couple stops in a row to sort of break the flow that they had. And then they came back with Kyrie a little early, which is fine, but I just thought our focus was to get some stops because for us, we have to get consecutive stops to really generate the pace and get the game going in our favor.
A couple of very significant injuries around the league recently, and every year we
Yeah.
see them. When someone notable like that has a major injury, do you personally kind of take a deep breath and think, it could happen to anybody anytime, or is that always kind of?
That's the inherent risk, of playing sports and being an athlete is, at any moment you could have a minor injury or a devastating injury. That's sort of the risk that we take, regardless of, who you are and what level you are. Obviously, when it's a franchise level guy like Cousins, it could change everything. So, it's just a part of the nature of the beast. And, I've dealt with it. Other teams have dealt with it. Guys have dealt with it in the past. It's just very unfortunate. Obviously, a guy that caliber brings a lot, to his team, but also brings a lot to each game. People want to see him play. And, it's really unfortunate.
The guy takes a hard spill on the court during a game like you. Is that kind of a frozen moment for you before you know how much he's hurt? Does everyone kind of take
I think regardless if your team or the other team, you don't want to see guys hurt, it's natural. It's human nature to feel it when another guy goes down. You're thankful it's not you, but it could be, or it's just one of the risks we take when we play.
You guys have your own sort of way of doing video sessions. Funny stuff mixed in there and stuff like that. Is that, in your mind, is that a good way to do it? Are you enjoying that? Does it get the point across in a different kind of way? What's your take on it?
Well, I think it depends. What Steve decides to throw on there. But he gets the point across. It lightens things up. It just keeps everyone sort of engaged in a different manner. Obviously, the thought is there, and everybody knows the thought process is the same. But the illustration may not be basketball all the time.
David, a few weeks ago, Kerr talked about LaVar Ball. He said he didn't understand the level of coverage he gets, and said he's kind of like the Kardashian of the NBA. Today, Ball said he doesn't understand the level of credit that Kerr gets, and he's the Milli Vanilli of coaching. Did you hear that, and what do you think of that? He says it's easy to do his job. Anyone can coach the Warriors.
I don't know, man. I don't get involved in that. I don't waste my brain matter on stuff like that. All right, man. All right, y'all have a good day, man.